Have you had anything to drink or anything?
Yeah.
How much have you had to drink?
Some.
How much is some?
Enough.
Enough? Do you feel like you're intoxicated?
Yeah. Full disclosure.
Yeah.
58371.
Yeah. It was a sheriff's deputy.
Okay.
So the allegations are that this man, a sheriff's deputy, had a BAC of .21 and that he ran a red light and got into an accident with kids in the car. He's facing charges of aggravated felony DUI and child endangerment. I've said this many times. I never drive if I've had anything to drink at all, even a sip. That way I know I'm never over the limit, and that way there's no alcohol for any cop to legitimately smell coming from me. Also, looks like he seems to take some immediate responsibility, and he also puts his hands behind his back, probably because he knows he's going to get arrested.
Face me.
41597.
How much would you say that you've had to drink?
Enough.
How much is enough?
Enough that I shouldn't be driving.
Okay. And you were driving?
On one side of things, taking responsibility is good, and it could possibly help if this eventually gets to the sentencing phase of things, but in general, lawyers will usually tell you to explicitly invoke your right to remain silent and not to answer questions from police like how much have you had to drink, etc. You can exercise your rights while also taking responsibility at some point if that's something you want to do. They are not necessarily mutually exclusive. Unfortunately, some people view exercising your rights as a sort of indication of guilt, which we should normalize to not be perceived like that. Here it seems like the guy knew he was caught and he just wanted to take responsibility, not entirely sure. And I don't want to take away from the alleged harm here. Driving drunk, endangering people, especially young people like this, is not good. And this guy is a sheriff's deputy. He was placed on administrative leave. I don't know if there's been any update on that since. And I understand people make mistakes. In my experience, DUI is one of the main crimes that affects people who otherwise are not criminals and who otherwise do not commit any other crimes. Unfortunately, normal people drink and drive all the time. Hopefully, this can get reduced in the future with things like more social pressure and norms not to do that, because legal consequences won't do enough. I know I do a lot of criticizing of police on this channel, and rightfully so, and most of that is on-duty misconduct, but I don't want to dismiss the human side of things here. Who knows what this guy is going through? The feeling you can see in his words and eyes here is emotive for me. I'm not excusing what he is alleged to have done, but sometimes we forget to have empathy for another person. I tend to sort of have less sympathy when it's blatant and systemic police misconduct that goes beyond a mere mistake, and there's many reasons for my lessened sympathy in those circumstances. Perhaps all of this is the subject of a different video, but I thought I would mention it here. Some of you may say, screw this guy, he's only sad and distressed because he got caught, screw him. But again, let's not be so quick to lose empathy for both the transgressor and for the victims. So let me shift gears a little and talk a little more in depth about your right to remain silent.
The department was forced to drop the charges because you forgot to read him his Miranda rights. What possible reason is there for not doing the only thing you have to do when arresting someone?
Police not reading you your Miranda rights will not automatically get the case thrown out as Hollywood likes to portray it. And no, you should not say, I don't answer questions. You should say something else to fully protect your rights. I will explore all of this and more in this video. Your Miranda rights include the right to remain silent, any statements may be used against you in court, the right to an attorney and to have them present during questioning, and that an attorney will be provided for indigent defendants. Police must read you your Miranda rights when you are in custodial interrogation. Failure to do so will cause incriminating statements made to be inadmissible in court. This may damage the prosecution's case against you, but the charges will not automatically disappear unless there are other reasons for doing so. For example, if those incriminating statements were the only evidence that the prosecution had, then the case might be dropped, but if they have enough other evidence, then they can still proceed with the case. Generally, custodial means either a full arrest or a restraint and free movement such that a reasonable person would have thought they could not leave given the totality of the circumstances. A traffic stop, however, generally does not usually rise to this level of being custodial because it is considered temporary and brief. Interrogation is questioning done by a known law enforcement person and includes explicit questions or any behavior or words that police know or should know are reasonably likely to elicit an incriminating response. Also, involuntary statements that have been coerced are not admissible. Tricks and deceit by cops may sometimes make a statement involuntary, but not invariably. When determining if a statement is voluntary, courts will look to the totality of the circumstances. Also, volunteering a statement not done during interrogation does not fall under the protection of Miranda. Miranda warnings have to be provided before interrogation starts. If the interrogation is stopped for a long period of time, the warnings must be re-given. To invoke your rights to silence and an attorney, you need to make clear, specific, and unambiguous invocations. Merely remaining silent or saying, "I should probably have an attorney," are not sufficient. It needs to be something like, "I am exercising and invoking my rights to remain silent and to have an attorney. I want my attorney." If you are under custodial interrogation, once the right to remain silent has been invoked, police must stop interrogation and allow for a significant passage of time and then re-give the warnings if they want to reinitiate. Once the right to counsel has been invoked, all interrogation has to stop until an attorney is present. But if the defendant voluntarily reinitiates with police without being provoked, statements given will be admissible. Even if you are not under custodial interrogation yet and want to remain silent, saying something like, "I don't answer questions," is probably not the best idea. Instead, you will still probably want to more explicitly invoke your rights by saying something like, "I am exercising and invoking my right to remain silent," from here on out. Otherwise, it is possible that pre-custodial silence could be used against you at trial. There are some exceptions to Miranda warnings needing to be given. For example, if the public's safety is at risk, undercover cops where the suspect is not aware they are a cop, and routine booking questions. Also, statements made in violation of Miranda can potentially still be used to impeach the credibility of a defendant. There is something called the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine, which generally prohibits evidence that derives from constitutional violations from being admissible. With Miranda violations, however, physical evidence that derives from a non-Mirandized confession is admissible if the confession was not coerced. So, all of this is a brief and general overview of Miranda. There is always a lot more nuance to the law, but this is a good starting point.